Oh, live.
It's live.
Okay, we're live.
Yay.
Nice. We put the link on Twitter so anyone can join us.
And I'll retweet you when you put the link up.
I'm ready. I have my Twitter ready.
Should we use a hashtag for questions and such?
We can if you would like. It's up to you.
I think it's better that way. We can use like the Inlovebookclub hashtag. Let me see. Where is the... Okay, we're live. I can see my face. I don't like it. Okay, share. Copy link. All right, we are live. Do you want to say anything while I tweet this?
We'll just stay here in silence.
Look.
Sorry.
None of us are professionals.
Me neither. This is the first time I host one of these. Fate and the first years, right?
This is my yeah. I
mean, I've done this before, but with like I've never been the host, so
yeah.
Just like I let other people like figure it out. All right.
I've never done it at all, so you guys can figure it out.
Oh, okay. Okay, I just tweeted. Let's see if it works.
Did you tweet on your account or on Lovathon?
Lovathon.
All right.
I see it. It's working. Nice.
Does it work?
I retweeted.
Yes, it works.
I'm not going to click on it because I just don't want to see my face.
All right. Let me open it on YouTube just to see if anyone asked questions there or something. But I'm going to mute it because it's always like late. All right. Okay, I think we're there.
Yay.
Okay. Hi, everybody. If you join us, but I'm Christina from Over Christina's Journey. You're in my channel. And I'm here with Melissa and Hannah. You can introduce yourself and your channels.
I am Melissa from over at the Bookish Babbler.
Okay.
And
it's like orientation at school. Like, say your name and say the fact.
I like reading books. I like dystopian. No, I'm kidding.
I do like dystopians.
All right, I'll go next. I'm Hannah from the Tiny Book Dragon channel, and that's that.
And you do like dystopians.
I do as well.
Glad we're all
right.
here.
So when did you read the book? Did you read it a long time ago?
I read it last month.
I read it beginning of May. I started it in April, and then I forgot it existed. And then I think I read it like the first or second week of May.
Okay. Yeah. I was just asking so I could know if you had like all the details fresh in your memory because I just read it yesterday and today.
I remember bits and pieces of it.
Okay. Sure. All right. So does anyone want to explain what it's about for people who watch the live show later? Just in case they don't know.
I can.
Okay.
So basically, the book.
I mean, I'm not doing it myself because I haven't spoken English in like 3 months, so I'm not confident enough in my English.
Sure thing. So the book is Fame, Fate, and the First Kiss, and it's about a girl named Lacey who basically gets a job in a zombie film, and she basically finds fame and love, and she has her first real kiss, and there's a mystery involved. There's sabotage. There's helicopter parenting, father-daughter dynamics.
You know, I had never heard that term before, but yeah, that's horrible.
Yep. So that's basically what the book's about, and it's just her being a high schooler and juggling sort of her becoming very like kind of famous a little bit, like a B-level actor level famous. And yeah, yep.
How did you rate it? How many stars?
I did not love this book at all.
Okay.
I gave it 2 stars.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
about you, Hannah?
Okay. So here's the thing.
Because you love Casey West. I
Yes,
know.
I do.
Favorite.
So this is gonna break my heart to say this. Because I've read every single one of her books. I've loved or at least really liked every single one of them.
Okay.
So with this book, I gave it like as far as like my enjoyment level of it, I gave it a 4 stars. But if I was to rate this
But
book
that's still
technically,
good.
yeah, if I was to rate this book technically, it would be a 2 stars. Like this is the worst book she's written, and that's the tea.
And it's my first Casey West book. So I'm like, I feel so sad that this is my first one.
I'm so glad I read the other one that you recommended last time. What was it?
The fill-in boyfriend. Melissa,
Yeah.
you have to read it. You have to read it.
I read that
That
one,
one's
and
one I want to read.
but this one, like, I also rated it 2 stars, and then I was just like, no, that's too mean, because I was engaged in some points, but then I was just like, okay, maybe 2.5. So on Goodreads, it's 3, but if I'm honest, it's like a 2.5. I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
Realistically, like enjoyment level, it's a 1 star for me. I gave it 2 because I liked the writing style and it had some form of zombies involved, and we all know how I feel about zombies. They're my favorite.
I literally no, continue.
Oh, I was just gonna say like that was like a good rating from me with a 2 star. I'm not gonna lie.
Why didn't you like it, Hannah?
Okay, so let's just say that the plot of this book, more specifically, like the mystery part of this book, was laughably bad.
Yeah.
I just did the biggest eye roll.
But it's just like, having read her other books and knowing what she's capable of, this was just not, as far as like the plot and like the characters at this point, I see that, especially in some of her more recent ones, like I feel like her older books were her best books. And as they've gone on, I've liked them less and less because I feel like her characters, especially the main ones, are starting to get more and more the same and kind of just turning into like your token contemporary romance characters that we've seen so many times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I haven't read many of her books, but I've seen that happen with other authors that I like, and I don't really like it. I mean, I also gave it 2 stars because, first of all, I was trying to blame it on the slump that I'm going through, but it was really hard for me to pick up the book first because I tried many times, and I was just like, I'd rather read the Petticoats and Piracy book. And also, like, that's what you mentioned. The mystery was laughable. I didn't believe any of the characters. I was just like, these characters have no personality at all.
Yeah.
And I wanted to like Donovan, but I was just like, it feels like a how do you say it? Like cardboard,
yeah,
cardboard boyfriend of a contemporary romance. And I was just like,
yeah.
I liked him at the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
I liked how like type A he was and how he was sort of like this very guarded person. I could relate to that. I was like, that's me at the beginning of relationships. I'm very guarded. I'm very like, I don't communicate, not like that I don't communicate, but I just don't show a lot of like emotion towards people that I like in a romantic sense. So I really related to him at the beginning. I was like, I can get behind this kid Donovan. And then it just, at one point, I was just like, I just don't see it anymore. It's like as the story went on, he became more of just this like puppy dog who was into her and less of like his own person.
Yeah, as I mentioned, he had no personality.
Yeah.
I mean, he had at the beginning, and I really liked when he took her to this. Okay, so if you haven't read it, spoilers from now on. When he took her to the terrace, like all the scene where she found him in like the journalism area, and he showed her the press machine. I don't remember. See, my English is just so rusty. But I liked all of that part, and then when they got to the terrace and they talked, all of that part I really enjoyed. But I feel like suddenly, like, it went too fast
Yeah.
out of nowhere. Like, suddenly they kissed and they were boyfriend girlfriend, and she was at his place, and then he was all there. Like, I was just like, when did this happen? I mean, okay, I never really saw like him liking her before that, if you know what I mean. I build up, and that's something that I really like, and it's just like, it's not there. They're in a relationship already, so I didn't like that.
And then I thought it was weird how there was no focus on the mystery, in intense air quotes, throughout the entire first half. It was all her trying to date this guy. And then throughout the whole second half was just this mystery. I honestly thought she had more chemistry with the actor dude.
Yeah,
I
was more into their chemistry problem.
That's my other problem with this book.
Because I wanted them to get together. I thought, imagine if she had dated Donovan and then they broke up, and at the end of the book, she gets together with the actor. A plot twist. I would have liked that.
There's your mystery.
Yeah, I honestly went into this book thinking it was going to be like a love triangle between
you told me that.
That's what I thought it was.
And I love a good love triangle.
Where did I got the idea that this was a love triangle?
I did too. I guess I just played myself in that one, but
we're the only three people who want a love triangle in books. I feel like we're like, bring it on.
But in this case, I don't like love triangles. But since my favorite trope is the famous person that falls in love with a non-famous person, I wanted it because I was like, oh, this is gonna be about falling in love with the famous one and the not famous one, and she's gonna be right in the middle. I like it. I can go behind this. But then I was
I like love triangles if they're done right. So.
I made a whole video about that.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
I'm very passionate about it.
Put the link down below.
Link.
Yeah, I mean, I think I set up myself to failure at the same time like you did, because I don't usually like knowing what a book is about before I start reading it. But in this case, because it was part of this book club, I kind of understood that it was going to be a love triangle, and that it had my favorite trope, and it had no love triangle, and she had no intention of falling in love with the famous guy. And in the beginning of the book, I didn't see, like, I know that Casey was trying to make this guy like very like how do you say, like, self-centric.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it at the beginning of the book. I saw that I really believed that they had chemistry, and that this whole thing that they didn't have chemistry was going to be like how they fell in love. And I really liked that. And I honestly believe that she started making like the character like hateable. Is that even a word? Like that, like making that on purpose. Like, okay, he's self-centered and he's gonna have this comments and this just because I want the audience to don't like him. And I was just like, I felt it when it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was a bit of stereotyping in that.
I mean, I'm an actress. I was so offended.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
I also didn't like how like easily the main character turned against her like best friend.
Yeah.
Like literally, I saw that it was in her, like when the thing is in her trailer. I literally was like, clearly she's been set up. Why would she be so stupid as to keep it in her own trailer? Like, it made so much sense that it was someone else. And I knew it was that stupid director's kid, because all children in books are usually the worst. And he was already the worst.
What?
Children in books are almost always the worst characters.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think by far the worst aspect of the story was the mystery. Like, the author made it way too obvious that it was that girl whose name I can't even remember. But it's like, you know, when the author's making it like so obvious that it's this person, that it's not that person, so it like completely defeats the purpose of it. And I knew it was going to be that kid at the end. And then how it wraps up, how like they find out it's him and they're just like, well, okay.
Yeah, I was just like, and that's it?
And they have that weird Scooby-Doo style like chase scene.
Yeah, I was like, what are they doing in the
set.
woods? Like, there's no one around, like the
so
crew and
dumb.
everything.
It was so. I'm like, where's the security? There's gonna clearly be security guards with flashlights. They wouldn't have even been able to get in there in the first place. It was so dumb. I was so mad. As someone who likes mysteries and zombies and love triangles, I was attacked on all fronts.
As someone who likes Casey West, this was a painful experience.
I'm not gonna say anything else.
Like,
But would you watch the movie they were filming?
Yeah, absolutely. It's zombies. I'm gonna watch it.
Okay, because I mean the story sounded cool, but then when I read like the little sneak peeks that they had from the script, I was just like, this is so corny, and it's just like, no, like the dialogues were horrible.
It reminded me of Warm Bodies.
In fact, I watched Warm Bodies yesterday because of this book.
I love that movie.
I've never seen it.
I love the movie as well, but if that movie is cringy and corny, this was like another level. I can deal with Warm Bodies, but this one I was just like, all right,
Yeah,
now.
I did not like those little snippets at the beginning of the chapters.
I listened to the audiobook, and the narrator, she narrate, because I think the main characters, like Lacey's character, is supposed to be British. She had this horrible fake British accent when
Was
she'd
she
read
supposed
the
to be
character
British?
lines. Apparently, in this audiobook narrator's mind, she
I
like
did not read about that in the story.
she would literally be like, "Oh no, the zombies are everywhere," and I was like, "This is so bad."
Oh wait, she was supposed to be British in the movie, or did she give her a British accent throughout the entire book?
No, just in the movie portion.
Oh yeah.
So I think like maybe it was to differentiate when she was speaking in character. I was not a fan of her British accent because no one else was British. She didn't narrate any of the other characters in the movie as British.
But I remember she mentioned in the book that Grant also had like the British accent when he was playing the character. So it's weird that she didn't read Grant as Benjamin was the character.
I think so. Yeah.
With a British accent. That's weird.
It was weird choices all around made by this audiobook narrator. Let me tell you. It was a mess. I love audiobooks. There are a lot of audiobooks people don't like that I enjoy the narration of.
Mm-hmm.
Like The Siren by the chick who wrote the Selection series.
Chericast?
Yeah. That audiobook, I thought that audiobook narrator did such a good job. In all the reviews, people are just hating on her. They're like, her narration's terrible. So I'm pretty lenient. So you know an audiobook is terrible if it makes me dislike a book more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would not listen to the audiobook of this. It wasn't great.
Okay, I have a question. Do you have any favorite characters? I know we've mentioned that they didn't have any personalities, but did you have any favorite characters?
My favorite would probably be Donovan, if I had to pick one.
Okay.
My favorite was Donovan, but then it became the best friend who was nice enough to still keep being her friend after she treated her like garbage. Because she's a real MVP. I was like, you go, girl. Look at you being the bigger person. So proud of you.
I think I agree with you. I liked Donovan at the beginning, and then I didn't. And well, I think I didn't like any of the characters.
Oh,
not even Amanda, because I based on my experience, I've been in a lot of projects, and it's really, really, really rare that everyone gets along, and that everyone is nice, and that actors are not there to backstab you. I know it sounds horrible, but based on my experience, it's really hard to find someone that is really, really nice to you, especially from the get-go, and to find two people, because Grant was also nice to them. So I was just like, this doesn't seem right to have like three actors that get along so well, and that they have like I know it happens, but if you put that with the laughable mystery and the laughable plot, it felt all like a Disney Channel movie. I was just like, yeah, where's Zac Efron here, and let's start singing. Like,
Yes.
Except High School Musical is significantly better.
Agreed.
yeah, I know. Yeah, but that's what I mean. I mean, I was just like, I don't believe that these people became friends so easily, because it's just like everything in this story is so unreal, and they becoming friends at the beginning and staying friends after she like basically said that Amanda was like a traitor or something like that.
Yeah.
It felt really unreal. I mean, I
Well,
would have liked that they remained friends, but at least have a much more confrontation, like
She
a
was-
better confrontation. Like, okay, you are saying this, stop it. This is not happening. Let's have a real talk. Not like, I didn't do it. Okay, I believe you.
and Lacey was actively sneaking around in Amanda's stuff,
Yeah.
which was like, you can't just go into people's trailers and start looking through their drawers, even if you suspect them of something. Get a security officer to do it, someone who is allowed to. There were just so many issues with Lacey as a character.
Yeah. Even like the plot twist of like Donovan being the person who wrote that horrible or the horrible review of his movie, they like didn't really even go into that. Like there was never much of an issue with that either.
Yeah, even when Grant realized that he was the one that wrote it. I mean, if I was thinking about Grant and his personality and him being on the public eye since he was very young, and basically that article like not destroying his career but just like derailing it a little bit.
Yeah.
And he was so, like they said that he was so upset about that article or review, and then he met the guy that wrote it and he's like, okay, whatever, let's be friends. And I was like, no. Maybe it's my Slytherin speaking, but no.
Yeah. This book just ended too nicely. Like it was too nice of a book.
Exactly. Where is like the drama? Where's the I don't know. I mean,
Where was the action? Where was the tea? Where
I mean,
went
I
it?
felt that the book was a lot of like they say that you should be show not tell, but I felt that this book was telling me everything, especially on the epilogue. I was just like, okay, fine, tell me everything, don't show me anything. I just didn't like it. Let me see, what else do I have? Oh, do you have a least favorite character?
You know who I thought was just not even an unlikable character, but just useless? The director. Why does the director do anything in this book? He's a director. Like, I felt like he didn't do anything. He didn't serve a purpose for someone who was like brought up so much in the book and was like supposed to be this important figure in the story.
Yeah.
She's on a film set. He was like, he added nothing except for 2 conversations that led nowhere. Like, I felt like he would have never, for the sort of character he was supposed to be, he never ever disciplined any of the ridiculousness happening or addressed it. And they kept acting like he was someone who hated drama on his sets. And like, it just was like, I was like, he's not doing anything that you've been telling us he's gonna do for this whole book.
Yeah. My least favorite character, probably just because I found her whole scene to be really annoying, was Donovan's sister.
I liked her because I would have been like that. I've been a fangirl before. I know what it is. Okay, yeah, and she was like, she appeared 2 seconds and then she left, and I don't like that. I mean, I really wanted to see more of her.
She didn't serve much of a purpose, I found.
Yeah, the same thing with Leah. Leah was the makeup artist.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked her at the beginning, and then suddenly she was dating her father, and I was just like,
weird.
Why is she dating her father? I mean, maybe it's going to have something to do with the story, but nope. And in the epilogue, Lacey says that they dated for a few months, and then she went back to Remy, and I was just like, then why did they date? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because that's another thing. Is I feel like the author would just add in these random things to like create drama, but they never went anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also one of the things that I didn't really understand, and maybe you can explain it to me, is I understood that they moved to this place. I don't remember if it was Hollywood or where, but they moved there. Lacey and her father moved there because of Lacey's movie. But then at the end, she says that she stayed there to have a better bond with her father, and I was just like, so he didn't move there for the movie? I mean, I thought it was something temporary, but apparently he was going to stay there. So that's something I didn't really understand.
Yeah, I don't remember that happening, but I'm
I don't
certain it
either.
did happen. I just know they lived there. And also, the one thing that I thought, the dad's character could have been interesting and like this good point of tension if he had been written even remotely well. And also like he's so obsessed with his daughter's career and making sure it stays on track. He would that sort of person would never be involved with someone who is directly attached to their daughter's career. He would never have dated her makeup artist and the ex of his daughter's film's director. He would never do that. Like, it was just all of these interesting characters were just being derailed because the author wanted to create melodrama, but it would have been more dramatic if he had liked her makeup artist or secretly dated her, or if that had caused some issues between the dad and the director, causing Lacey's job to be in jeopardy. There were just so many more interesting storylines to be told, and she didn't tell any of them.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, and then she lost her job, and then she was like, "Oh, okay, don't worry, I have another one." I was just like, "In real life,
Yeah, there was like
this
no problem.
doesn't happen. Where are the stakes? I don't see any stakes here."
Yeah.
Also,
No.
one died, which made me mad. Not one person died.
Not even in the movie, right?
Yeah, I don't even think anyone died in the movie, which is absurd. It's a zombie film.
One of the things that I didn't like about the movie is that in every scene that they showed us, she was still a human and she could still talk, and she was like, "Oh, I don't want to be with you because I'm turning into this." And then next scene, "I'm turning into this," and next scene, "I'm turning into this." Are you a zombie or not?
I've seen The Walking Dead. It does not take that long to turn.
No, it does not.
Let's see. I have more questions here. Okay, we've touched on this a little bit, but what did you think of their relationship? And we're talking about Lacey and Donovan, and the other relationship, Amanda and Grant.
Not a fan.
Of which one?
All of the above.
Amanda and Grant were okay, I guess, but they weren't explored. I wanted Grant and Lacey. Honestly, that made way more sense. Or if there had been that love triangle, but Amanda had a crush on Donovan, that would have been interesting. She could have made it so much more tension filled and like dramatic.
Yeah, one of my favorite scenes was the kiss scene or the
That was a good
practice.
scene.
Yeah, that was
good.
awesome when he was like, "Okay, let's kiss," and she was like, "No, I just saw what I have to do. Thank you." And then Amanda was like, "Thank you," and then she came back to kiss me more. I like that scene because it felt cool. I mean, and for a second, I was like, maybe Lacey's gonna feel a little bit jealous, but no.
That's what I was expecting. I was thinking maybe she'd be like, wait, but I like him. And then that would have been interesting.
Yeah, like they having trouble with their chemistry on screen, but then they end up falling in love. Like,
That would have been nice.
Why did we write this book?
Let's write it until Casey wants to go write soap operas. Next question. Oh, what did you think of their the location? Like, did you for a second believe that they were actually on a movie set, or it felt real?
no.
No, right? Not at all. It felt like Disneyland, right?
It was just there was nothing. It was so like squeaky clean.
Yeah.
And
Like I
I've
would
never
describe every element of this book was like surface level. Like
Mhm.
nothing was, the plots weren't explored, the characters weren't explored, the world building, nothing. It was all
Mhm.
just here.
it was the safest book I've ever read in my life.
Yeah.
And not in a good way.
Oh no! And I remember that at some point in the end, the author was trying to be like make all the mystery situation like scary, and like when she was walking on in the woods, and I was just like, I get scared with everything, and this is not scary. So yeah.
I knew it was like a 10-year-old. And there's nothing scary about a 10-year-old in the forest. So
Yeah.
him easily.
Best sentence. There's nothing scary about a 10-year-old in the forest. Just like the tagline for this book.
No. It was horrible. What did you think of the end? Did you like anything at all about it?
We're all just like,
I liked that it was over.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the next question.
We're just dragging this book.
And I feel so bad because, like, Hannah, I think Casey West is your favorite author, right?
my favorite contemporary author, yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's
I mean,
not
I'm
that
dragging
it was
it
a
too,
bad.
it's fine.
It's not that it was an awful book. It just had the potential to be so much better, and that's what makes me upset.
Yeah.
All right.
Especially knowing like what kind of potential this author does
Like
have.
knowing that you love her so much, and like you're like one of the 5 people I actually listen to about contemporaries. Like knowing that you love her so much, I was like, "Ooh, Casey West." Then I was like, "Oh no, this is the worst one, isn't it?"
I know. As soon as before we filmed this video, I read your review on Goodreads, and it said that this was the first one. And I was like, "Oh no, it's ruined! It's ruined everything."
I have another. Yeah.
Continue what you were saying.
No. What were you gonna say? I was
I was just gonna say I'll try the fill-in boyfriend next.
You have to.
Yeah,
That's the next
that
one.
one's nice. That one's nice. How about the bad review that Donovan wrote? Would you at least like? One of the things that disappointed me about the book could have been fixed so easily because I wanted to read the review.
Yeah.
And it was not there. And I was just like, but if you're going to mention it so much, show it to me.
Yeah.
I want to be part of that. So, yeah, I think that's part of my problem with the tell and not showing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I remember that she mentioned that Donovan was like he had this website where he had all of these reviews and he had all of these followers. And for some reason, I felt, first of all, that came out of nowhere. And it had no effect in the story. And I wanted to know more about that. I think that made him very interesting. And I was just like, oh.
Yeah, I felt like it would have been also more interesting if the negative review had been about her and like her TV show appearances.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
And then but then they ended up liking each other anyways.
Uh-huh.
Like that's what I was when like I heard like negative review, I was like, oh, is this gonna be about her? Is this gonna be a good time? And it wasn't, because it wasn't. It was about some character who's not really essential.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're brainstorming a lot of good story ideas though. Like this is great.
Melissa, right? Your
It
book.
really got me going. I was like, I'm gonna write a contemporary. And it's
I will read it.
Yeah, you write a Fame, Fate, and the First Kiss retelling where everything's done right.
Bravo.
Yes.
Let's see. What else do I have here? What would you have done if you were lazy? Would you have stayed in the new school or would you have gone back to your old school to finish high school?
I probably would have just stayed. Like whatever, it's high school.
As
All
someone
right.
who was homeschooled, I have no opinion.
Yeah, I asked this question because here in Ecuador is different than in the United States. I mean, I feel like high school is only 4 years there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here you can stay in the same school since you're in kindergarten until you graduate high school. So I did that. I was there for 12 years. So for me, just staying in a different school just for a guy, I don't know if I would have done it. I mean, I remember when she said like, oh, she missed her friends and that she was missing all these events that were happening at her school. That's something that I could relate to because that happened to me in my senior year. It was like in my senior year, it was the first time that I had a play, and I missed a lot of events, and I was just like, is this worth it or not? So when she said that she stayed in the new school just because of the guy, I was just like, and your friends.
Yeah.
We already know Lacey doesn't trust her friends or really care about them anyway, though. So I expected nothing from her.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Something interesting about the story, though, that I don't know if everyone's going to know, especially since you guys haven't read a lot of her other stuff, is that the girl whose name I forgot, who she talks to on the phone, her friend from back home,
Abby.
is the main character of Love, Life, and the List, which is, and she, I think
I like
Lacey
that.
was the side character in that book.
That's
cute.
interesting.
Now I
Yeah,
want to read that one. I've heard that one good.
yeah.
That's the podcast one, right? No, that's not the
No.
podcast one.
That one, the girl works at an art museum, and that's why she talks about doing art or whatever on the phone with her. So yeah.
Oh, so Casey West has this like it's not the multiverse. How do you say it? The thing that Marvel
She has like crossovers.
Oh, the
sometimes.
crossovers. Okay.
That happened in. I think that's the only other time it happened. Besides, there was a character in The Distance Between Us that was in On the Fence, so they had a crossover.
Oh. I like it when contemporary authors do that. Like,
except Anna and the French Kiss, right?
don't talk about it. I hate it so much.
Whenever I see a video of you and you have Anna and the French Kiss in the title, or you have the picture of the book, I'm like, oh, I'm going there.
I have to read that just to be in on what's going on.
It's just not great at all. It's really not.
Melissa hates those books, but since those were some of the first books that I read when I started BookTube, I really like them. But I know in my heart that if I read them again with all the things that I've read now and with my age, I'm not gonna like them, especially after I've watched all Melissa's videos trashing Anna the French Kiss, and I'm like, oh, you have a point there. I understand that. Okay, yeah, that's right.
They're just so messy and not in a fun and cute way.
Oh my.
Let's see, what else do I have here? We already talked about her dad. Do you know if like what's the next Casey West book?
Maybe This Time, I think is what it's called.
Oh, okay.
And that's about a girl who, I think she's like works for a florist or something, and so she shows up at all these events like weddings and stuff where you need florists. And then there's like a boy who works for the catering or something, and so they meet at these 9 different events.
That's so cute. I want to read that. That sounds adorable.
We can use it for our book club pick whenever it comes out.
Goodness. See, that sounds right up my alley.
When does it come out?
I'm going to look it up right now.
I'm going to give Casey West one more chance because one I liked and one I didn't. So don't disappoint me on the next one.
I'll have to give you guys recommendations.
Even if I don't like it, I'll probably please do. I'll probably keep reading them regardless because we know once I start on a hate train, I can't get off. I really cannot.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for your videos. Like, why you shouldn't read Casey West?
Hannah just unsubscribes immediately.
It has 1 thumbs down and it's me. It comes out on July 9th.
Oh, okay.
Of this year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think
maybe
that's why this book sucked. I mean, I believe that when authors have like deadlines and they have to publish more than 1 book a year, this might happen. Like, characters just blend together and it's just like,
yeah.
It's almost like I feel like some authors just write 2 books at the same time and they get confused about what's going on in each one. And that's why they don't make sense.
Yeah.
It's a theory I have.
Maybe. Hannah, where would you put this book in like all your Casey West?
Oh, right at the end.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Would it be like that's the last one, and then you have a blank space, and here are the other ones?
Yes. Honestly,
Oh,
like I said, this book, like if I gave it an enjoyment level rating, it was 4 stars. Like that's what I gave it on Goodreads because I genuinely just had like a relaxing, enjoyable time reading this book, even though it had no substance to it. Like I still enjoyed my time reading it. But
okay.
yeah, it would be right at the end.
I mean, I enjoyed it because every single time something happened, I was just like, "Oh, this is gonna happen," and then I got disappointed again, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay, but this is gonna happen." Oh no, it's not. So I was excited about the possibilities, and then I was just so disappointed.
I
Yeah.
wanted to be surprised at least once, and I wasn't. That was the thing. I
What?
like to be
The
surprised.
mystery didn't surprise you?
I know it's crazy, and I am a mystery genius, and I did guess that plot twist. I know it's crazy, but I did.
Yeah, I mean, it surprised me once with how bad it was.
Ah, that
You
was
know,
a surprise.
I also read this right after I read Red, White, and Royal Blue, which is
Is
really
that
great.
like the one with Prince Harry?
It's like a version of Prince Harry, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
so
saw that
I had just finished reading this and I was like, contemporaries are all I care about now. They're all I
one.
care about. And then I read this and like the whole time back in my head was like, but what if Donovan and Grant fell in love? Like back in my head, I was like, but what if she does that at the end of the book? And I was just like some like deep part of me was like, come on, Casey West, give it to me, and she never did.
Oh man.
Cause like he wrote the hate, it'd be a good hate to love moment, which I love.
Okay.
That's just another way that she could have made the book better.
Yeah.
So many
Hit me up,
ways.
Casey. I got like 50 books lined up for you. Just hit me up.
Do you have any favorite scene?
I honestly can't remember the book that well.
I erased it from my memory. Bad memories.
I liked the scene where she had the phone call with her friend because it made me feel like she was a real person for once. And I did like I liked the sort of initial few scenes with Donovan where they were like they had like this weird animosity. I liked that. I liked seeing that, but then once it switched, I didn't care. But I liked the beginning few scenes between Lacey and Donovan. I thought they were cute, and I was sort of hoping it was going in like a best friend. At that point, I was hoping they were going to be friends, and I was really excited about like this platonic male female friendship in this contemporary. So I was really excited, and then it got derailed. But I did like those scenes, and I liked the phone call between her and her friend.
Okay. And Hannah, you don't remember?
I honestly don't remember. What I will say though, because you brought up the initial scenes with Donovan and her, is that another thing besides thinking that it was going to be a love triangle is I thought that her and Donovan would be a hate to love thing because it explains how like she hated her other tutors so much. I thought that she would give him such a hard time, and it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so many possibilities.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I like the terrace scene and when they were at school. I liked when she went to see him and then he skipped school. And to be honest, I liked like all the times that they were at Grant's trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And like for example, when they were playing cards and they were given different details about themselves, even though they were very, very random, but I was just like, oh, Christy, you are almost 30, so of course you would ask different stuff. but I was just like, okay, they're teenagers. Of course, they're gonna talk about their favorite food. That's fine. But I really like those scenes. You know which characters I liked? The guards.
I like them too.
The security guards outside of his trailer. I like that. I like them.
They had more of a personality than every character in this.
Imagine if the book had been from their perspective.
Imagine if they fell in love.
I mean, it would have been amazing if the book was from their perspective and they were just seeing everything and how many times Donovan went into her trailer and that. I mean,
Hannah just wrote the best book ever. Imagine if the guards had fallen in love. 100% on board for that. Where's my novella, Casey West?
Yes.
I have a question for you, Hannah. Is every Casey West book in first person?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I
Because
think so.
I try or I gravitate towards books that are in third person. I don't really read books in first because I don't know, it feels like the main character is whining.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like The Feeling Boyfriend was good enough for me to keep trying these books.
Yeah.
But is every Casey West book in high school, like with high school students, or does she write about older people?
I think they're all high school.
Oh,
I
okay.
also can't remember. But some of them, like, especially her earlier works, are a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, recommendations, Hannah. Recommendations.
Okay. So I actually think the first book, which was a duology that she ever
I'm
wrote.
really gonna write them down.
Okay. So I think her first work was a duology, which was actually sci-fi, but it had that kind of contemporary vibe to it, and it really impressed me, honestly. It was called Pivot Point and then Split Second.
Okay.
That one is very good, and it has obviously like a very sci-fi element to it. And then The Distance Between Us is also really good. That is about a girl who falls in love with a rich guy, but she comes from like a rather poor family.
Okay, I want to read that one.
Yeah. And
It has that Cinderella feeling.
yeah, so that especially like her first few novels had so much more depth to them. Like it went a lot deeper into stories and it dealt with some heavier topics, whereas this one didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Another good one is On the Fence, which is a good boy next door, fall in love kind of story. And the other one I really, really liked was P.S. I Like You, which is... I'm not going to give it away. Never mind. but I feel like you'd like that one.
That one was it released last year?
2 years ago, maybe?
That was on my radar, but I never read it.
I think that was on my Goodreads TBR shelf.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure P.S. I Like You's on there.
How many books do you have in that TBR?
So many.
I think I have like 500 or something. I'm like, Chrissy, are you like, really?
I can do it. One day I'll read them all.
If they don't publish more books.
Yeah, right?
They gotta stop that.
That's why I'm like, since I've been away from BookTube, I'm trying to like look for books that were published a couple of years ago or something, so I can catch up a little bit, because if I keep adding books that have been just released, I'm never gonna read anything. It's been like I've been trying to read Red Rising for so long and I haven't, and it's right there.
So
I can
good.
see it. I can see
so
it.
Good.
And I want to reread Six of Crows so I can read Crooked Kingdom, so I can read King of Scars, that is also right there.
Same.
So yeah, so many books. But I've just added 4 more to my TBR. Thank you, Hannah. Let me see if I have another question. I don't think I have any other questions. Do you have any questions?
Why was this book so bad?
Let's email Cassie West.
Let's not. Just like, why did you disappoint me?
No, let's do it like I think it's with Game of Thrones that they are like writing or signing a petition so they film it again or something.
Oh yeah.
So we will be like, okay, this is our petition. Write this book again, and these are all the ideas. Thank you.
I'm gonna write a Wattpad fan fiction about those 2 security guards now.
Please do.
If you do, really, let me know. I want to read it.
It'll be so bad. Very excited.
No. All right, so then our next book is going to be, again, but better. That's the one that won the poll.
Mm-hmm.
So you already read it, Melissa, right?
Yes, I did. I got a arc from NetGalley. I was very excited. I did not expect to get approved.
But that's nice.
Yeah.
Did you get an arc, Hannah?
I
did not.
Oh, Hannah.
Oh, okay. But you did, Melissa, right?
Did you? I did. I did, yeah.
Hmm.
I put in for a lot of arcs on NetGalley, and for like the past 2 years, I've gotten approved for like 2 a year, and all of a sudden, I got approved for everything all at once, and it was
Oh
so
wow.
stressful. I was like, I don't have time to read all these books. They all come out on the same day, and all the days are a month from now. It was not. It was not the smoothest moment for me trying to read all these books, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to reread it now that I've watched a lot of reviews people have put out and read them. I
Hmm.
find like I feel like my views are very different from everyone else's. A lot of people really hated this book, and I
Yeah.
didn't. Like I thought it was cute. I thought it had some issues. It's very much a first book,
Hmm.
but I thought it was really cute. I think the writing style was really great, and I think you can really see that like she put so much of her heart and soul into this book, and it made me appreciate her as a content creator on YouTube more because I felt like I got to know her by reading this book. It was just a really cool experience. So I hope you guys like it. I liked it. I thought it was really cute.
I
So
hope I like
hopefully
it
you guys
too.
like it too.
I hope I liked it too, but I'm really excited about the fact that it's in London. Is it in London or it's just the
Yeah,
UK in general?
London. London,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm
She's
really
like an
excited about
exchange student.
what?
I said she's an exchange student. She
Aha,
like has an
aha.
internship. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm really excited that she's not in high school. I'm sorry.
I am
I'm,
too, frankly.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I like this whole university thing. She's in an exchange student, right? Or just getting an internship. What does she do in London, girls?
I don't know. I haven't read it.
No, I'm asking Melissa.
I
Did
think
she travel for
both. She's taking
school or an internship?
and doing, I think, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. Well, that's gonna be our next book. So I know one person is watching our live show. So for you, that's our next book. I feel
Cool.
since we I apologize that but because of Chicago,
Tells
I
her parents it's
what?
for school, but she's actually secretly doing an internship.
Oh, all right.
So there's also
I was gonna ask you, would you mind if we do the live show in July? Because I know we are 1 month like
Behind.
behind because literally with my show
Mhm.
I had no life, no time to read, no time to do anything, so I couldn't even
Mhm.
sit down and do this. So if like Melissa already read it, and I think it's an easy read, right?
Oh yeah, I read it in like 2 days. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we can do the
Yeah.
live show in July. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. So that's our book for what's left of June and July. All right. Do you have any other questions?
I
No.
don't
No. All
personally.
right. All right. I think that's it for today. So we're going to quit.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye.